Hello everyone, welcome back to SpartanGaming Play Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. This would be part 2, I guess. Onward. We're off to interrogate. Yeah. I have to check just in case I was wrong. I'd have been embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Its belongings.
So, there are certain things we can do out of order here.
1883.
So, for some reason, Holmes
To my friend
can't read the inscription in one sentence.
R. Dawson.
It's been threes.
I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
Which means back to Baker Street.
The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something. But what? A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
Sure.
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
Rightio. So, we can interrogate Neligan. Or we can go back to Baker Street, which is what we're going to do, and use the archive. So, we need to use the archive to forward the investigation. I'm pretty sure you can't... I don't think you can progress forward without actually investigating the archive, because you need the inscription on the ring. And this is his archive, the crap on the wall. Look through a newspaper. Here it is. Dawson and Neligan Investment Fund Banking. Neligan missing.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
So it says the Dawson and Neligan Investment Fund, a regional banking institution based in Cornwall, has declared bankruptcy as a result of heavy losses in its loan portfolio and has accordingly been assigned for liquidation. Sucks to be them. It was the 23rd largest bank in Britain, and its bankruptcy was the second largest on record. The liquidation of the company is a pure catastrophe for many Cornwall families. Joshua Neligan, one of the bankers, has since disappeared. He has last seen aboard his yacht, of course, preparing for departure to Norway. Neligan is wanted by both the police and his creditors. Sounds like he dropped smoke and ran away. What a piece of shit. I noticed Toby was over here. Hello, Toby.
Brave Toby.
Oh.
The best nose in the British Empire.
I can't give him a scrub behind the ears. Savage. Person wearing Watson's skin. Okay, back to Scotland Yard. Now we can interrogate. There's something you can miss. But as I said, I don't know if I said this before, but you can. It's gonna say finger the wrong person. That would have been a bit weird to say. You can put the crime on somebody else that's not the correct person. So you got to be really careful. Obviously, we'll discuss more about that later. Man, look at this room. Got the old stand and we'll measure your stick. Weird. I don't know what the fuck that measuring thing's for. Oh, I'm stuck. Can I not? There we go. I don't know why it's on one of those horses that you see in a lot of BDSM shops. It looks very... Is that for jumping on? How awkward. And this is not a shower, even though it looks kind of like a shower. I think it's a telephone, or... It leads into Lestrade's office. So, who knows what it's for. Also, the light is on a winch. Like, how does it get power? Because that's clearly not an electrical cord. It's not plugged in. It's just a light that's forever on. Weird. Anyway. Oh, look at the chains on the floor as well. Amazing. Anyway. Get distracted. Let's give him let's profile his ass first. Shabby cap. Let's go this way. Patch. Got a thin neck. expensive fabric, elaborate buttons, short sleeves, nasty hands. Very nasty hands. Ugh. Stinks of poverty. That's what it should say. Let's ask about the gold ring first.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Right, tell Porky Pies, boyo. The engraving says otherwise.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner.
Ring's owner. We ought to know who the owner is. It's his dad's.
Neligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
Your dad is.
No, Mr. Neligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Neligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Of course it did. It's Sherlock Holmes, you fucking idiot. Let's ask him about... See, we wouldn't be able to ask him about Dawson and Neligan if we didn't go to the papers.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Neligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes. Joshua Neligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Neligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts.
Hammerfest.
Gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht.
Cool name.
Just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Neligan. At last, we are making some progress.
As if there's a place called Hammerfest. That sounds like a heavy metal fucking concert. Amazing. If anyone lives in Hammerfest, I'm jealous. What a cool name to live. A cool place to live, Hammerfest. It sounds like a city for blacksmiths. Brilliant. Knife.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Neligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
I don't know about that.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know. I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Neligan. Interesting. Joshua Neligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Neligan's disappearance.
Okay. We need to get the ship's log. So I'm going to do that now because this is something you can miss. If you don't go... Like, once Joshua's... once you forward the story to a specific point, you cannot interrogate Joshua Neligan again, or John Neligan, or whatever the hell his name is. I can open the deduction board, and I can merge... Swift action and pin to the wall, maybe. But we don't want to do that just yet. I need to get the log. Need to get the logbook. Oh, we also need to Do this with the boots. Bonk.
These boots don't match the footprints.
Okay, so there's obviously a gardener that we don't know about.
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the 𝘳𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘧.
Oh, they got 2 harpooners, Pablo Conventreo and Patrick Kearns. I wonder if they got 1 cook for all these people. Oh no, there's another harpooner, Ned Land. Oh, I never noticed there was another one there. Wow. It's like I don't have any eyes.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the 𝘳𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘴. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Okay, so we do need to come back here. I'm basically making this a lot harder than it needs to be. But I've done this part like 3 times and I've messed up 3 times. So we need to go in here.
These are the suspect's belongings. I wonder if these are connected.
This is what we need. This is what I always forget to do. We need CPR, which is here.
Now we have the proof that Neligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
So we can go back in here. Oh, get out of the way. Yes, he's still here. Nice. We can ask him about it. And we can put the blame on him.
Tell me, Mr. Neligan.
You can miss this so easily.
Are you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
Don't lie to me, boy. Bond certificate.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belong to my family, but I could not find them there.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Nice.
Please let me go. I'm innocent.
Quiet, you. Now, missing papers. Neligan's notebook. Break-in attempt. There we go. It's this one. Neligan was looking for his father's papers inside Black Peter's cabin. It explains his presence at the scene of the murder. Okay. What else we got? That one. The pin to the wall and swift action. Experiment required. We need to find out whether an unskilled and untrained man can use a harpoon well enough to kill by fully piercing a body. A word.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Is there anything else we need? Neligan's notebook and... Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's what we needed. So Neligan was looking for his father's papers before the that one. Or the break-in attempts were made in order to recover the notebook that had been lying in the pool of the victim's blood. This proves the guilt of the person who made these attempts. So, now we can go back to Baker Street for the experiment. Whenever I know where the M button is on my keyboard.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the 𝘳𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘴. We shall soon learn what happened to Neligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
See, getting the logbook triggers this part where you can ask Wiggins to find some sailors. But we wanted to do the experiment before anything else. If you talk to Wiggins, then it removes the ability to interrogate Joshua Neligan, or... Is it John Neligan? I keep saying Joshua's his dad, isn't it? Yeah, it's John Neligan.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
I love the nod to the Jack the Ripper case. My all-time favorite Sherlock Holmes game. Bloody love that game. I played that game so many times and I never get bored of it. It's crazy. So let's go back to Woodman's League. I told you, man, this first case is back and forth constantly. Hopefully, I think in the next case, there's not so much back and forth in. Let's scoot our ass in here.
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Okay. We also want to talk to Mrs. Carey again.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Ah, you're a bundle of information, aren't you?
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Why do I think you're lying?
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
I love how
Thank you, madam.
unhelpful this woman is. Missing tin box, missing papers. Stolen valuable papers. Valuable bond certificates were kept inside the stolen tin box. Okay, this links to Neligan. John Neligan could have been caught stealing the bond certificates. This might have been a motive to murder Peter Carey. Or John Neligan is a victim of circumstance. He does not fit the portrait of a murderer either by physical or psychological description. If we pick motive, we can pin him for the murder. Excellent. Yeah, none of these. Okay. As I said, you can pick the wrong person. And then the game tells you at the end that you've been a really, really bad Sherlock. And you sent an innocent person to death row. Which is nice. Need to go back to... Oh god. The 𝘥𝘦𝘴𝘭𝘮𝘦𝘪𝘳 butcher. This is an interesting experiment. Very interesting. This area will be a lot cooler if it was the same as the area with the same butchers as we went in Track the Ripper. If it was a spitting image, that would be amazing. Because it's the same butchers, because you did say. Visit our butcher's friend in Whitechapel. But it's not the same shop, unfortunately. That's a shame.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise, yet.
This minigame is quite frustrating.
For the mark, in order to perform the most reliable test.
So, when you hold your breath, you have to fight the camera from moving. And also keep an eye on the bar. So you have to like aim the camera and then also keep an eye on the bar. But if you leave it long enough, he refuses to hold his breath too long. But if you miss...
The harpoon has struck the body.
Thank you.
But with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
Yeah, each time you miss, the bar gets bigger. It's so difficult. It's like keeping... It's like I need an extra set of hands. I need to keep an eye on to make sure I'm aiming for the X. Then I also need to make sure that I'm aiming correctly with the bar. It's frustrating.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry, Watson. Chop chop. Brilliant. Now we can... Strength requirement, pin to the wall. Oh, we got 2. So, it requires much greater strength than the average man to be able to pierce a man's chest with a harpoon all the way through to the wall. A degree of skill would most likely be necessary. 2 men in cooperation might achieve the same result. Or we could have lucky throw, which is a remote possibility that an unskilled and untrained man could manage to pin Peter Carey to the wall with a harpoon. There's no way in hell it was a lucky throw. Definitely a feat of strength. Nothing else unlocked. Interesting. So the only thing we've got left to do now is, if we look at our objectives, is to see Wiggins. Yes, I'm trying to think. I don't think we can. There's nothing else to inspect in the Woodman's Lee. So back to Baker Street. So if we go to the window, should be able to call Wiggins up. Get you out of here, Wiggins.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
And speaking to Wiggins then triggers the being unable to interrogate John Neligan ever again. Because for some reason the game doesn't like you interrogating people. But All the evidence is done, so just got to go to Lestrade. Never fast travel back to Scotland Yard.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at 𝘥𝘦𝘷𝘦𝘭𝘰𝘱𝑦 noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
He comes off as such a pompous asshole. Holmes says, breathtaking, yes. Wow. Let's have a look. Oh, he's got a pair of boots.
Suspect's belongings.
We're gonna take them to
𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
take them to 𝘥𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘮𝘬's and see if they're the gardener's boots.
Usual about it. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals.
So as before, we can go and interrogate 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳, or we can do a chemical removal of this ink, which we're gonna do. But let's head back to 𝘥𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘬. We need to check if his boots fit the gardener's boots, which they should. 9.5. I think the other boots were size 8, if I remember correctly.
These boots match the footprints exactly.
There we go then.
These foot...
So Mrs. Carey lied about the gardener. 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳's the gardener. Why did she lie? Unexplained presence. 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳's boots matched the footprints at the 𝘥𝘦𝘴𝘮𝘮𝘪, thus proving he was there. Judith Carey denies that he was there, or that he was their gardener. We all know where this is going, don't you? I hear the word cook in the background. You hear it as well?
Who could do such a thing?
I pressed the wrong button. Back to Baker Street. So yeah, do the footprints, do the removal of the ink, and then we don't have to talk to 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘳 more than once because he's an asshole.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
I know this off by heart because I've done it enough times. So it's blue, green. The condition thing is really distracting. It always throws me because it says orange needs to be in the third sequence. To me, that was the third one needs to be orange, but it's not. It's blue, green, blue, orange, clear, orange, clear. If that's correct, I think it should be orange. I think clear has to be after orange, or colorless. Sorry. If you get it wrong, it turns black and smoke poops out the top.
Done. Now I can proceed further.
And there we go. Easy.
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
Then we just left click and clean it all away. Oh, it's that being Power Simulator. What a fascinating, very satisfying thing to do.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would 𝘱𝘦𝘴𝘱𝘦𝘪𝘳 react to this?
I beg you to reconsider, and remember our vows. I have done nothing dishonorable for which you me. Interesting. As you can see, we've got 2 more pieces of dialogue to talk to. So now we can head back to Scotland Yard. See, if you don't do this, basically you need to talk to him and then go out and do what we just did and then go back again, and it's just To me, it's always easier to do the evidence before you talk to the suspect. But before we talk to the suspect, I'm going to cut the video here. It's been a bit long. Yeah, so next time we'll interrogate Mr. 𝘱𝘱𝘧𝘱 because, yeah, as I said, this guy's kind of an asshole. So we'll get it done quick. We're quite near the end of the game, or this case anyway, so yeah, one more video should do it. So yeah, until then, peeps, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.